Hey guys, welcome to episode number 49 of Fashionpreneur Talk with Gitana Styling Podcast. How are you guys today? How's your fashion business? If you don't know me, my name is Sandra. I am a fashion stylist and a business consultant, and this podcast is about having genuine conversations about fashion entrepreneurship and getting your questions answered. So if you guys have a question, please email it to us, info@gitanastyling.com. Gitana is Gitana styling.com. Remember, you can always hang out with us inside our free Facebook group, Fashion Entrepreneur Club Hangout. In there, you'll find inspiration, support, and knowledge to build a successful fashion business. Also, remember to visit our Etsy store for workbooks and planners for your business, Gitana Styling, and also perhaps join our Planner Club subscription to get one planner a month and get focused in your business. So today, like I mentioned, is episode number 49. And I'm so excited because we have such an amazing guest for you guys. Her name is Rachel Erickson. She is the CEO of Unmarked Street. She is a certified project management professional with 20 years of experience. Rachel works with a variety of apparel brands as their development, production, project management, and sourcing expert. She has a strong desire to teach her community, and that's why we have her here today. Welcome, Rachel. Thank you for being here in the podcast.
Oh my God, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me, Sandra.
No, my pleasure. Rachel has been our Fashionpreneur of the Week inside the group, inside
Yes,
the
yeah.
community. So, shout out to that, to the Fashionpreneur of the Week. We're so happy to have connected with you and to have you in the community. And, I gave a little bio there, but Rachel, tell them a little bit more about you and your background.
Yeah, absolutely. So my background I started sewing when I was a really little kid. I was 7 years old when I learned how to sew. And it's really funny when I look back on that time now and how I was turning shirts into skirts and doing weird things with my clothes. And I'm watching people now on TikTok or Instagram doing those things and teaching people how to do it. And I was like, I thought I was so weird.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought I was doing the weirdest things and nobody
You
would
could
ever
have been
do
a
what
celebrity by now.
I know. Oh my God. So I should have just stuck with that. But anyway, so I've always had this real love of fashion and clothes and just exploring. And I got really into patterns when I was younger, and I would cut from when you used to go to Joanne Fabrics or something like that and buy your own patterns and make your own clothes. And
Yeah.
I got really into that when I was in high school.
Okay.
I would make a lot of my own dance dresses. Whenever I went to homecoming, I was wearing something unique. And so when it came time for me to kind of figure out what I wanted to do for school, it kind of made sense for me to head into fashion design. And I was really lucky to join the University of Cincinnati's design, architecture, art, and planning program. At the time, it was the #3 fashion school in the country. And they have this amazing co-op program where they push you into an internship for 6 months out of every year that you're in school. So by the time I graduated, I had done graphic design, I had done creative design, I had already done some technical design, and I had already done some merchandising. So I kind of knew where my niche was, what I liked to do, what my talents were. And straight out of school, I went straight into technical design. It was patterns all day long. I am, inside the industry, we kind of joke that pattern engineers are really weird people because we all have this awkward way of thinking about clothes. And when you put on a 3D garment, I see it in 2D and how it works on a flat paper pattern.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely one of those people. And so I started my career there, worked my way up through technical design, and then started to learn that technical design and development really go hand in hand. And it depends on what company you're at. They could even just call that role development or technical design. Mm-hmm. And so I eventually moved into more of a development role where not only was I getting to do fittings and patterns and working with garment construction and creating tech packs, but I was also then learning a lot about costing. Mm-hmm. So the development side of the business that I was at the time was really honing in on what we call CBDs, or cost breakdown sheets. And I was having to learn, how much does thread cost and how much does this zipper cost? And if we're using this much fabric that costs this much, how does that affect my garment? And that was kind of the beginning of my business journey on the fashion side. And from there, I definitely moved back and forth kind of in between development, technical design, and eventually took on a role as a product manager, or some companies will call it a merchandiser, where I was doing the line planning, trying to lead the team on like revenue goals and putting together the numbers of the side of the business instead of doing more of the creative side of the business. And so with all of that knowledge, I kind of felt like I was able to go out into the world as a contractor or as a freelancer and offer this variety of just knowledge, I guess, that I'd accumulated over the last 20 years, mostly to like small brands who aren't sure how it works, right? Like there are a lot of people who have amazing ideas for apparel lines, but the idea of how to put together a business plan or how to know where to start with a line plan. Do I make 50 pieces or do I just make 3? And being able to help them was really, really on my heart. Like I wanted to be able to do that because working a 9-to-5 for $1 billion company, you're making these companies all this money. And you just, at some point, you just want it to go to these people who are trying so hard. And so you want your talent and you want your knowledge to go to people that you feel really worthy of it. Not that corporations aren't, but it just felt like a calling to me. So that's kind of how Unmarked Street started. I felt like it was a way for me to pay it forward, if you will, and work with brands that I loved.
Awesome. Amazing. And I have to agree with you. Your services are so needed because my experience with designers, a lot of them, like you mentioned, when they were young, they started sewing and designing and everything. But when it comes to, having their company and making money and all of that, they need so much support. And I remember I worked in Arizona with a factory, and I can't tell you the amount of times they would tell me like, they don't have this, they don't have that, they don't know this, they don't know that. Like, we are not putting this, we're putting it together, but we're not designing this. Right? Like there's so many details, technical details that need to be taken care of. So if I'm an apparel brand and I need this kind of support and I go to you, what are the specific services that nowadays you offer to your clients?
It's interesting. Like each of our clients uses us a little bit differently. I'm not going to lie. I haven't really done like cookie cutter programs, at least not yet. We've been talking about how to kind of simplify our offering, but up until now, we've just been like, if people are interested in learning what we can do for them, I get on a call with them. And I kind of figure out what the gaps are in their processes, right? So are they great at design, and maybe they're amazing at technical design, but they don't understand the costing piece of it. So they just need someone to come in and help with business. Or we also have a client who's totally handling everything on their own, but they need someone to just organize them. So like with my project management certification, I was able to come in and we've set up processes and we've set up timelines, and now they have like a business and a team manual that they can just follow, and it's just piece of cake for them. One of my other clients has hired us, and we do everything from end to end. She comes from the tech world, but she has this amazing idea for apparel, and her brand is awesome and her community is amazing. But we do everything for her, from designing new styles. She kind of tells us what she's thinking about, and we do sketches for her, put it into tech packs. We work with her factory for her. We order all of her materials, like track production, and make sure all of it comes in on time and on cost. So it kind of runs the whole gamut.
No, that's
And it,
amazing. Thanks so much for sharing all the different ones because, people who are listening, they're like, okay, but maybe I just need this help with this, or I need more of a full package.
yeah.
So no, thank you so much for sharing that. And I see also in your posts on social media, you share a lot of educational stuff. And
Mm.
I've actually seen you teach some workshops with an organization and by yourself. So tell us a little bit more about that because I see that
Yeah.
teacher side in you.
Oh yeah, that's a huge one. So when I one of the reasons, I mean, just to be super honest, one of the reasons I left my 9 to 5 was because I really missed managing. There was like a really sweet spot in my career where I had a team that I loved and I was mentoring and managing and leading and teaching them what I knew.
Okay.
And and near the end of my career when I shifted into some roles, that piece kind of got taken away.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to find it again. It was just something that I love doing it. I have so much knowledge in my head to share. And I
Mm-hmm.
just want it to get out into the world if it can help anybody in their careers. I feel like it's important for us to continue learning and continue growing. And if I can help with that in any way, it just feels like a calling to me.
Totally. And nowadays, where we have so many platforms where we can teach these content, I mean, definitely,
Yeah.
if that's a passion of yours, I think a lot of people will thank you for it 100%.
Awesome. Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, 100%. Now, getting more into your business on Mark Street, I see you talk a lot about fit all the time.
Mm,
In fact, your tagline, everything, it's like you
yeah.
talk a lot about fit and how that elevates the apparel line that you have and all of that. So, share a little bit more about your philosophy here with us.
Absolutely. So, fitting garments is oddly like my number one talent. If we boil down everything that I do and you just had to put the number one thing on me, it would be fitting.
Okay.
Garments kind of speak to me when they're on the body and they tell me what they need in
Okay.
kind of a woo-woo way.
Yeah.
Um, and it's just been my belief for a really long time that if you're wearing a garment that fits you well and that feels comfortable, you're going to be brand loyal to that company that made that garment forever. Like you're just going to continue to go back to them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I work with a lot of my clients on fit and grading to make sure that all of their measurements across all the sizes that they offer are spot on so that when they find a customer, that customer comes back to them again and again.
That's great. I have to tell you, we had a call, I think a week ago, perhaps 2 weeks, like a call with the community. And one person, she sews her own clothing and she's learning, taking different classes, and she really wants to go into design. And she was saying that she made these yoga pants for
Mm,
herself, and those are her favorite yoga pants because they fit her so well.
yeah.
And people talk about like, oh, I used to buy from this brand these pants that fit me so well, these jeans, for example, and then they disappear, and now what do I do? And it is like you say, like I remember, especially working 9 to 5s, if you find a shoe that fits you
Yeah.
nicely, it's comfortable and everything, or if you find a typical dress shape that will be great for you, then you get it in like every color. So
Yep.
I agree 100% with you. And I think some, especially when people are starting out, maybe they don't pay that much attention to that, and they need to.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're like touching on some other stuff that I've really been kind of talking about a lot recently, which is like evergreen product. And once you have a product that fits really well, like just like you said, like I want to be able to come back year after year and buy this same shoe or this same jean or this same yoga pant because it's my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I could probably go into that all day long, but there's all these other brands who do a great job.
Mm-hmm.
They have these customers who love these products. And then somewhere along the line, they decide, well, it's kind of old, let's change it. And I think that
What?
I know. I
Why
feel
do
like
they do that?
there's this, there's this constant push for innovation and trend and newness that I think is just crushing the people in the industry too. Is just burning the crap out of people, like that they're having to redo everything all the time when
Yes.
10 pieces in their line could just be staples almost forever and ever because people love them.
Mm-hmm. And I think that small businesses have a huge advantage on that, because I feel, I don't
Yes.
know, maybe I'm wrong, but with the big companies, they're always going after that innovation, like you mentioned, and the new thing, the new thing, and we as customers get upset from time to
Yeah.
time because, oh, now they don't have, and it happens in every, oh, now they don't make this foundation, or now they don't make this perfume, or now they don't they don't have this line of jeans, or whatever it
Yeah.
is, right? And I feel like you find someone who sews well and they make something really nice for you, you're definitely coming back to that person.
Yeah.
And if you
Yeah.
find a small designer that has a product that is amazing, you're going to go back to that person. That is gonna, I don't care about how much you spend on your advertising. If
Yeah.
that works,
Yes.
I mean, you're gonna go back.
I totally agree. And I think it's also such a smart way to run a business. Like, it's a product manager's dream to have like a black yoga pant in the line that can just live on and be your bestseller forever and ever. Like, I just think it's a miss that a lot of people don't have that. And I'm here to say that that's a great way to run a business, is to have just a really wonderful fitting quality product that you can run forever.
Totally, totally. And this is kind of like a tricky question, but I want to see your point of view, because I work again with a lot of designers and they stay stuck because they don't get the help they need, and you offer so
Mm.
much help that, I wanted to ask you, when is the right time? Because a lot of people think, oh, I have to make this amount of money, or I have to have this amount of sales, or I have to get bigger. I don't know. People have all kinds of ideas in their head. You as a professional, what do you think, when is the right time to go and get that help that you need?
That's such a good question. And it's so hard to say, because it is hard to hire help when you're just starting out and you don't have a lot of money coming in.
Mhm.
And we get that question a lot about like discounted pricing and stuff like that, so that we can help the kind of brands that we want to be able to help. And my business coach is going to kill me for saying this on a podcast, but we do that. If you're a good fit and we feel like we're a great match for your brand and we want to come in and help, we've been super willing to kind of work with your budget and figure out how we can come in and at least take the most important things off of your plate. When I started going into business coaching and having a coach on my own, the first thing that I learned was I am not going to scale or grow until I hire.
Mm-hmm.
And it was scary as hell to hire people when I didn't think I had the money for it. But as soon as I hired people, we were making so much more money because I had time. They were doing a lot of extra work. Like, we doubled what we were able to do overnight by hiring somebody. And as much as it's scary and as much as you kind of think, I'm not going to have the money to do this and I'm not going to be able to afford it, it really is amazing how it turns pretty quickly. And all of a sudden that money does start to come in because you have the support that you need.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as possible.
That's what I always say. And
Yeah.
and I know it's scary, like you say, but it's like, just, I always tell people, it's not just an idea, a pie in the sky, like they say. It's just like, okay, I need this amount of help. How much money do I need to set aside for this? Perhaps I start with a certain amount of hours. Where is this money going to come from? Do I need to take an extra client so I'm able to pay for this? Like, it's just about getting organized. It's not about getting super stressed and overwhelmed. We totally understand. We've all been in those situations, but you have to think the big picture if you want to grow, right? And you have to invest, and it's just part of the process, right?
Absolutely, it is. And again, as scary as it is, like, to make money, you kind of have to spend some money. And I mean, at the end of our first year, we had a really great year at the end of our first year, but we ended up a little bit in the red. And that wasn't the result that we really wanted, but we wouldn't have been able to have that big year if we hadn't spent what we did. And now we're already starting to see like that red come off of our ledger just a couple of months into the new year. So it does quickly change things, and you are able to do so much more with the help.
Yeah, totally. And let me ask you, Rachel, because you have 20 years of experience in all the things that you have done, but you opened the business on Unmarked Street 2021, right?
Yeah, October of 2021. God, we're not even a year and a half in. So yeah.
There you go. And how has this entrepreneurial experience been like for you?
It's so, I was terrified at first. I didn't think anybody would ever want to hire me, but it, I think it's just amazing the referral network that lives within the apparel industry, and like the coworkers that I've had from the past kind of reaching back out and helping me find clients. And then, I don't know if you feel this way, but I also feel like now that I'm an entrepreneur, I think I'm a serial entrepreneur. Like I have so many ideas of what to do next. And it's been really fun, and it's so free to spend my day the way that I want to spend it, work with the people that I want to work with, and be able to hire people that I think, are some of the best in the industry, and get to work with them every day too.
That is amazing. I'm so glad to hear that. I always say people, yeah, there's a tricky part there where you have so much freedom that at the same time you're like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, and then you have to get all organized. But if you stay organized and focus, you can definitely make it work, and you can have more fun. You can definitely work with some amazing people, right? And okay, I just wanted to ask you, I always ask people because people have different experiences.
Yeah.
One thing is also not letting, the fear get in the way, because since we have to do a lot of things, a lot of times, we get stuck by not taking action. But I see you all the time just growing and doing,
Thanks.
which I wanted to ask you also, because the next question was about the podcast. You're launching a podcast. Yeah. You have a podcast. So I want you to tell people about that.
Yes. So we are launching on March 24th. The trailer episode is up now, wherever you listen to podcasts. So Apple, Spotify, Audible, wherever you're at. It is called The Business of Apparel. And I'm going to be having some wonderful guests on the podcast to talk through either their business or any projects that they're working on in the industry. I have, kind of like I was mentioning about work, like I have a great referral network, and I'm really excited to feature them however I can. I'll also just kind of be talking through what I know about the industry. And for me, it was a way to allow my community to know me a little better. I've been trying to do some videos and do social media and marketing. And I just to be honest, like I feel a little stiff when I go on video, like when that camera goes on record, I'm like, oh, this is a different version of me.
I know.
But for the podcast, I feel like I can be a little more myself, and it's been really fun. It's just like you always say, like I have to time block the crap out of my calendar. Like my calendar is super organized, but the days where I get to work on the podcast are the most fun, and those time blocks never get missed because I always want to go in and do them. So I just feel like it's kind of the next level of what I wanted to do, and I'm just really excitive about it.
No, that's so great. And, I see you on camera and you do such a great job. I know what you say about being stiff and everything, but as you keep on doing it, you're no worries.
It gets better.
Yeah. The most important thing is that you're enjoying it, because that's gonna make it sustainable for you. And I always tell people, you don't have to be, you don't have to do 100,000 things at the same time. You just have to, pick the one that works for you and go all in, and then that will take care of everything else. So true. I'm so excited to, listen to the episodes, and, you have so much knowledge. Again, I always check your Instagram, because guys, if you want to follow her, that's the next question, where can they follow you? What's your website? What is all that good stuff?
Yeah, definitely. So on most social media, we're at Unmarked Street. So one word, no underscores or anything. And I'll pronounce that correctly, Unmarked Street.
No worries. We'll include the links for you guys.
Yes. Okay, good. So on Instagram, on Facebook, that's where you can find us. We are working on starting a little bit of a course community or an education community that will probably launch sometime this summer. We're calling it ACE, which is Apparel Continuing Education. Awesome. And so we'll be starting some Facebook groups around that and trying to bring some people together around learning about apparel as much as we can. And yeah, we also have a YouTube channel. So if you are interested in watching vlogs where I teach a little bit every week, You can go over to Unmarked Street on YouTube and like and subscribe to my channel there.
Awesome. Amazing. Well, Rachel, this has been great. I could talk to you for hours.
I
So
know.
many questions. Is there anything else you want to share before we close?
I just want to thank you so much, Sandra. This was so much fun, and it's just a pleasure to be within your community. And thank you for having me on.
No, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me and sharing all with that community. Guys, if you want to contact her, like I said, we're gonna leave the links below for you. Okay, she's very active on Instagram, so I'm sure she can help you right away. Guys, if you like this episode, please like, share, subscribe to the channel, and thank you again, Rachel. And yeah,
My
we'll see
pleasure.
you guys in the next episode. Okay,
Yay.
bye,
Thank
guys.
you.